And now in Europe, as the Russia-Ukraine war enters a new phase, French President Emmanuel Macron announced steps to boost Kyiv in its ongoing fight against Russian aggression. Macron says sending Western ground troops was not ruled out to achieve Europe's goal of defeating Moscow.
Everything was discussed in a free and direct manner tonight. There was no consensus today to send troops onto the ground in a manner that's official, assumed and endorsed. But on the dynamic, nothing should be excluded. We will do everything so that Russia cannot win this war. I've never said France was not in favor of sending troops. I will not lift the ambiguity of tonight's debate by naming names. I said that it has been evoked as a part of options. But I've told you very clearly what France maintains as its position, which is a strategic ambiguity that I stand by. Nothing should be excluded to pursue our goals.
Now, at least 20 European leaders and other allies of Ukraine met in Paris to discuss Europe's resolve on Ukraine and a response to Russian advances. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Polish President Andrzej Duda were among the 25 European heads of state and other governments gathered in place. The UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron and ministers from the United States and Canada were also present. The French president had invited world leaders to discuss how to ramp up ammunition supplies to Ukraine amid an escalation in Russian aggression. Macron said Russia's positions were hardening both at home and on the battlefield, adding that Moscow should not win this war. Macron said that a new coalition would be set up to supply Ukraine with missiles and bombs of medium and long range to carry out deep airstrikes.
Russia cannot and should not win this war in Ukraine, for Ukraine itself. Second, we are in the process of ensuring our collective security for today and for tomorrow. And so, more clearly than yesterday, considering the attacks that we are suffering from. We're also talking about our own security. Third, we all agree on the fact that we do not wish to enter into a war against the Russian people and that we are determined to keep the escalation controlled, as we have done successfully since the start of the conflict.
Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said cooperation and determination were answers to the questions of ending the war. But he also complained Ukraine only received about 30% of the million shells that the EU has already promised.
Everything that we do together to defend ourselves from Russian aggression adds real security to our nations for decades ahead. Because each of Russia's losses and each of Russia's defeats teaches Russia and any other enemy of Europe and the free world as a whole that aggression does not and cannot give results. Cooperation and determination are the two answers that everyone should give to the question of ending the war and bringing peace closer.
Meanwhile, there are continuing growing doubts about the viability of long-term backing for Kyiv from its biggest ally, the United States. This comes as the Biden administration continues to struggle to unlock billions of dollars of stalled emergency aid to Ukraine. In fact, support has now dwindled as House Republicans continue to balk at sending additional aid to Ukraine. President Joe Biden has hosted urgent talks with top congressional leaders at the White House to discuss Ukrainian aid.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.